Well, as I sit here on the patio and I look at my mock-up of my latest project, here I'll zoom in so you can see a little bit better. This is the area that I'm going to build an aquaponics system. On the right-hand side of the screen, there'll be a koi pond. On the left-hand side, a raised bed to primarily grow daylilies, but other plants will be in there as well. Back in the day when I was an active landscaper, we would build into the system what we called a bog filter back in the day, and it was an area you'd pump water from the pond through the bog. You know, the fish and the frogs and the turtles and whatever else is living in the pond are, you know, they're releasing nutrients into the water, and the water would get, because of that, very murky, and it would get full of algae, and quite honestly it would get a little bit on the skunky side. And if you sent it through the bog, the plants would pull the nutrients out of the water, and then the water going back into the pond was fairly clear. So with the invention of the internet, you know, that's kind of taken on a new name, which is an aquaponics system, and that's essentially what this is. So what I have here are cement blocks, and then on top of the cement blocks will be essentially a planter. It'll extend up to about the horizontal line on the shed. The daylilies will then be up about where the window is, and then on the right hand side will be the koi pond. I still have blocks to put on the pond side. I've got one more layer to go on the back side of the pond, and then 2 more layers going on the front side of the pond. Visually, I'm not going to leave it as cinder blocks, because who wants to look at cinder blocks? It's going to be a dry set block construction, but Sakrete makes this fiberglass reinforced concrete that's made just for dry set walls. And it creates a stucco appearance, so visually it'll be similar to the appearance of the house. So as you're sitting here visually, it'll blend in with you know, with the appearance of the house. So that's the idea. Now I'll walk over there and get a little bit different perspective on it. This koi pond is turned out to be about 8 feet wide and about 11 feet deep. So now you get a little bit better perspective. So again, if you can imagine that there's a rubber lined wooden planter sitting on top of this. That'll extend across this side, and essentially what that's going to do is that's going to create about a 2-foot zone here that's shaded for the fish, so they have some natural protection. That's also going to hide some of the plumbing and some of the ugly parts that are necessary to have a pond. And again, this will be covered with stucco, so it'll be, you know, it'll be similar to the house. This is how it looks. I'm going to fence off this little area underneath the shed and on the back side of the system, so that the puppy dogs don't get back there, and critters don't get back in there. But this is the system, and again, about 2 blocks higher. 2 blocks higher here. But this is a nice size. This is a nice size pond for a backyard. Snowbird Gardens North is very free form. It has a lot of curves. It has the planting beds are very free form and natural. And I wanted something in this garden that's a little bit more angular. The patio is very angular. The fences are very angular. So there it is. I have a stack of bamboo over here. You can see I relocated my compost pile over in that corner, but I have the stack of bamboo, and what I'm actually thinking of is on the back side of this pond, and the waterfall will be, I'm thinking, in the right hand corner. Going to have I have the koi statue, and that'll be pouring water into the pond. But visually, you know, as you're standing here, you still don't want to see the rain barrels, and I'm probably going to add a fourth rain barrel. And if I have that bamboo creating a screen in the background, I think that'll be a nice backdrop for the waterfall, and it'll hide some additional hiding of the objects behind here. So that's the mock-up of it. Just kind of threw this together in a couple hours this morning, just so you can kind of see what the plan is going to be here and how it'll look. There it is. Well, I just got done with my aqueduct. It's really a shallow water wicking system. There's water running through it. Fish waste from the pond feeds into the upper wicking bed, shallow water bed on the left. There's plants in it to absorb the nutrients from the fish, and then it goes back into the pond. Let's walk over there and I'll show you what it looks like. This thing is designed mainly for daylilies. I have plants in there temporarily just to absorb some of the nutrients from the fish. This tub on the end is going to be a wicking bed that's devoted to a fig tree. I have a fig tree growing in another wicking bed, and the fig tree just loves it, so I'm going to devote this one just to the fig tree. So right now I just have some temporary plants growing in it, a garden hose going in here, and it's not filling it, it's putting water into it. It took me a long time to dial in the exact amount. The plants are sitting in, oh gosh, a half inch of water, with the exception of this, and those are mangrove pods. I love mangroves. I have a couple of mangrove trees growing, kind of bonsai trees really, and I just love them. So I thought, you know what, that would make a really good filter for the water, as the mangroves absorbing the nutrients. There's my waterfall. I have a little bit of pea soup syndrome going, like a lot of folks with a new pond. There's my little koi fountain. I just love that koi fountain. This plant has grown crazy. Here's an example of my mangroves. I just love these mangroves. Water comes from the waterfall. You can go around the back here so you can see what's going on with it. Water comes up the tube, goes into a little filter, flows into the tub, and then out. Another view of the wicking bed. This water is kind of interesting. I skim it when I get home from work. I got up this morning, so I skimmed it last night, and I got up this morning and it was crystal clear, just beautifully crystal clear. It's going to take me a while to get everything dialed in because I just got this bed finished. But you can see, I think this is going to work out really well. Of course, I'm going to be dumping some extra fertilizer into this system because some of these pots have, of course, fertilizer in them, which is going to throw it a little bit out of whack. There's the screen with the outlet. Took me quite a while to get it dialed in just right. But that's pretty much the system. If you can imagine this filled with daylilies. I have a couple daylilies back here, a couple sacrificial daylilies that I picked up at Lowe's just to have some daylilies to see how they would go, how they would work with this system. There's just a few little roots coming out of it. I've had these sitting in a tub of water for about a month now, and they seem to be doing okay. I've got a couple little tiny roots coming out the bottom, so they seem to be fairly happy. So that's the system.